That visit to California by François Hollande, where he'll be meeting the likes of the bosses of internet giants, Google and Facebook, and getting the guided tour of the Silicon Valley, that incubator of tech startups that's home to a sizable French Foreign Legion.
Julien arrived in San Francisco just a few days ago. His goal? To get rich. How? By building his pet-sitting website.
It's like an Airbnb for dogs that allows you to find a pet sitter to take care of your pets when you're on vacation.
The 30-year-old Julien tried to develop his startup in France, but he left because there weren't enough investors.
French investors tell me the French market is too small, you have to have more ambition. And when I say, okay, I can expand to Europe, they say, it's too risky. It's always the same thing with French investors. And here in the States, however, they say, it's great, how much do you need? I've been here only a week, and I already have 3 or 4 contacts ready to invest money. In France, there's no way I could raise that kind of money. It's incredible to think that we need the Americans to fund us, but here you go.
Julien is working with an incubator to raise the $10 million he needs. The program provides him with financial assistance and a network in exchange for shares of his company.
Here it's not like in France, no fancy offices with secretaries. You build your own office and everything goes fast.
But his mentor is cautious. He says a lot of American investors are hesitant to invest in French companies.
The French president is coming in.
The challenges we have with the French market are around sort of regulation. So I think our perception is that it's a very valuable market from a consumer perspective, but that it is hard to penetrate. There's a lot of friction there, so it's hard to start companies there.
Startups also rely on angel investors and venture capitalists, which have helped make Silicon Valley what it is today. Jeff Clavier is the most sought-after French investor here.
Je brûle des calories en faisant des emails.
Clavier has raised more than $170 million and invested in more than 140 startups. But he warns that Silicon Valley is a very competitive place that involves taking risks.
Out of 100 startup companies, the number of funded companies which end up going under is around 70 or 80.
More than 50,000 French nationals are working in the San Francisco Bay Area. High-tech giants like Google, Facebook, and even PayPal have hired French engineers. David Marcus feels right at home. 6 years ago, Marcus sold his startup to the payment giant for $240 million. Today, he's the president of PayPal.
If you have that fire burning inside, this desire to work hard and succeed, and the talent to do so, if you have all this, then you should definitely come to the Silicon Valley.
It's an opinion shared by Carlos Diaz, a French CEO who has been living in San Francisco for 6 years.
Un défenseur du PSG, là, qui est content parce qu'ils ont gagné aujourd'hui.
In 2012, he and other French entrepreneurs created a movement called Pigeons, which criticized the French government's proposal to increase taxes on businesses.
You can't ask entrepreneurs to gamble all they've got, not to draw a salary and work in conditions in which chances of success are minimal. And if success does come, they'll be taking the jackpot away from you. It's a bit like if you told someone who plays the lottery, you can play, but there's no longer any jackpot. No one's going to play anymore.
Carlos will meet the French president during his upcoming visit to San Francisco. He hopes that François Hollande will be inspired by Silicon Valley.
President Hollande wants to sell his so-called responsibility pact for businesses, not only to French companies, but also to American giants and entrepreneurs, because he knows that's the right way to create jobs. He's right to come here, wearing the suit of a sales representative and trying to sell France.
Given his goal of improving France's image in Silicon Valley and of reassuring French entrepreneurs about the business environment back home, it'll be a tough match for François Hollande.
François Hollande will be touching down in California in the coming hours. With us to talk about it, Olivier Mathieu. He's co-founder of the company that in 2010 overtook eBay as France's #1 online shopping site, Price Minister. You're also the co-president of an association of entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs called France Digital, and the author in French of the book. I guess I translate it as "The Left Has a Pain in Its Business."
Good translation, yes.
All right. See, the interesting report there. Entrepreneurs saying, it's much better here in California. We can get money, seed money to start our venture. But are there no business angels here? Are there no venture capitalists in France?
I think there are some, because I am one of them, so I am an angel investor. And of course, what we need is more successful entrepreneurs. Then when we have opportunity to sell our company, then of course we have enough cash to invest again in new projects, new startups, new entrepreneur projects. So that's what we need. We need more business cases, more examples, and then of course the young entrepreneurs will follow the trend.
So are they right in the report when they say we can't get the money in France, we have to come here to get it?
Yes, but sometimes I am a little bit fed up with all the French bashing and Holland bashing and everything around, like telling that France is not a good territory to invest and to create your company. I don't feel it's right and fair, because of course we have a lot of beautiful success cases. But the thing with Silicon Valley is that of course they have much more money because they have much more successful entrepreneurs. So we need to write this kind of story, to follow this kind of example, but we can do it maybe the French way. And I hope that François Hollande will see this and share the best practices thanks to this meeting with head of Facebook, Google's, and understand how it can happen in France. Because I think it's possible. We have all the great talent, skills, thanks to our very high engineer school, for example.
I was going to say, back in 2000, when you and some friends founded Price Minister, where did you go for the money? And did you ever think, maybe we're in the wrong country to do this?
Yes, but in early 2000, it was very difficult because it was the middle of the internet bubble. So during this timing, it was very difficult to find money. So
it was just after the internet bubble.
Just after, yes, of course. Yeah. In the middle of the internet bubble, it would have been a good opportunity to find the money. But just after, it was very difficult. So at this time, the VCs were not really open-minded, because they thought that maybe internet was not really successful. So our idea was really to gather many business angels coming from outside internet. So it was people with really this kind of entrepreneur mindset. So we found enough people to seed the company. And of course, because it was profitable very soon, the following terms were quite easier to fund.
At the beginning of the report, you said to me, "Oh, I know that guy."
Yes.
Do you see him coming back to France?
Maybe not, but I don't think it's so. I don't think it's so sad that when we have many French entrepreneurs, because we are building also a kind of international French entrepreneur network, which is very useful to push the French business and the French entrepreneurship mindset. Thanks to this, because we have people in China, in USA, and I think the creativity in France is not one of our weaknesses. We always say that we have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of good engineers. So if they can create their company everywhere in the world, it's not a bad news, because we can create businesses and strengthen our relationship with the other countries.
Okay, so all those years of math that you and I endured in the French school system is coming to some good. The Financial Times quotes an internet blogger based here called Liam Boogert saying the French, these French entrepreneurs, and there's some 60,000 French people in California, which is big number. They've probably done more good than harm to France. French engineers have a great reputation in the Valley, which France has under-leveraged. France is poor at selling itself.
Yes, I think we don't have enough trust in our own country, so it's one of our weaknesses. So what we try to do is to convince our president and of course member of government and member of the deputies and member of the National Assembly that we need them to help us to create the legal environment, the legal framework to facilitate really the startup creation and of course the entrepreneurship possibilities. Because what we need really is more money in France. When we see that we have maybe more good engineers in France, more ideas, but we can see that it's easier to raise money in the States or in London, which is a pity. So it's more the financial environment which is our weakness. And the last news I saw is not very good, because I saw that year after year we receive less and less investment from foreign countries. So and now, as far as I know, maybe we receive even less money than Spain. So it's not a very good news for the French entrepreneurs, because what we need is really to attract the VCs just to invest, because in the tech industry we need to invest to create growth. We are working for the future, not to be profitable on the short term. We really need to invest a lot.
Now, the Silicon Valley, it's probably no coincidence that it's in California where they had the gold rush. And when you dig for gold, a lot of times you fail, and then once in a while you succeed. And in the report, we heard the man say a lot of the companies are going to fail. Now, the French, they're more risk averse.
I agree. That's one of our weaknesses. So we need to change it, but not only in the entrepreneur world, but also in the political world and in the like the civil servant. We always say that we have maybe too many civil servants. So we need to maybe switch the business model of the country, really to make people run more risk and stay in France. That's one of our weaknesses, but it's quite difficult, because now we are maybe too comfortable with our social security insurance.
We're almost out of time, so just very briefly, there's another big issue which you and I didn't get a chance to talk about, which is e-commerce. The world plays by America's rules, and we've seen it with the issue over taxes that these companies avoid. What would you like to see François Hollande say at that lunch with the likes of Eric Schmidt of Google?
I hope that he will have the courage really to tell the truth, that if these kind of big companies such as Google, eBay, and Amazon want to take advantage of the European market, they really need to pay the tax where the consumer is or where the consumers are. So we know that in Europe we have more than 400 million consumers, so it's a very attractive landscape for this kind of big American companies. So if they want to sell in France, they need to follow the same rules as we are following, because we pay our tax in France as Prime Minister. I mean, so we need to have a fair environment for every competitors.
Olivier Mathieu, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Stay with us. Much more to come here on France 24. We'll have more news, all the day's business with Marcus Carlson, and the latest from the Olympics. Stay with us.